open forum because everybody's going to have a different take on many of those plays. When we start talking kicks and possession versus muff, that can get a little hairy as well. A lot of times that's going to be some judgment, but hopefully most of these are clear cut. We're going to be talking concepts and raise your hand if you got a question. We'll dive in. Fundamentals: kick always ends as soon as any player secures possession. That's fundamental. That's not the only way a kick can end, though, right? What's another way, James? No, how else can a kick end? It roll out of bounds, right? Become dead another way that would. Yeah. Yep. No player would attempt to recover it. And but on those though, we're going to wait about 5, 8, 10, 12 seconds just to make sure nobody's around it trying to recover it. Scrimmage kick recovered in or behind the neutral zone may be advanced by K or R unless it's during a try. And that's a test question every year, phrased a different way. It's going to say true or false. All kicks may, or any kick may be advanced by K if it's recovered behind the neutral zone. And that's a false, right? Because they've left off this little segment after the comma. And any kick which is not a scoring attempt becomes dead when it breaks plane of ours goal line. We're going to see a couple of videos from our brethren around the state who may or may not should have ruled a touchback when we've got any kind of non-scoring kick sailing close to ours goal line. Definition of kicking: intentionally striking the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot. Illegal kick: intentionally striking the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot, not in compliance with 224.3 or 4, which you can guess are the definitions for scrimmage kick and free kick. Most common example is kicking a loose ball on the ground. Now, smart guys, we know that kicking a ball on the ground is illegal kicking, right? And we're going to talk about those differences here in a minute. And again, it's just semantics when you're announcing it, but and semantically even further when we start talking about punts on free kicks when you're not supposed to and stuff, those are free kick infractions and not necessarily illegal kicks or illegal kickings. Pop-up kick, that's a free kick infraction, right? And that's when kicker drives the ball immediately into the ground, strikes the ground once, and goes into the air similar to a kick kicked off a tee. And that's a dead ball foul. All those fouls up in the box, punt when you're not supposed to on a free kick, a pop-up kick, encroachments by K, encroachments by R, all those are dead ball fouls. Not a one isn't. And you know that because when you look at the statement of penalty, all of them are preceded by a signal S7. Referees, what's S7? Exactly. So get right into some video. Oh, he grazed it. Is that a legal kick? 100%. And it's going to be first touching, right? So we'll watch we got a little discussion, kind of a crazy play. Many of us have probably had it happen in a game though. It's, somebody whiffs. So that's what they discussed. See, he does kick it. He intentionally hits it with his foot. K touching in this manner is not kick catch interference, right? Because one, the ball didn't get any height on it. Yeah, there's no always joke. There's no foul for kick catch recovery. Rather kick recovery interference is how I phrase it. No, it's that's just that when dude goes to jump on it, K that is, especially when he picks it up and gains possession, it's going to be DRT, dead right there.
That might be the shortest kickoff in history, right? That ball didn't even go one ball.
got to watch this one close. I think they're going to go to the primary camera. But if you're looking at the football, see that it falls, right? So that's a stoppage. It's an official's timeout to reset the ball. This particular video has audio from Steve Shaw, and I know it's we're talking about two different codes here, but I think what he says is probably a good standard for us to follow on Friday nights as well. If the ball falls off the tee more than twice, if it falls off twice, that is, you need to bring somebody over and get him to hold it for his teammate, right? So we'll just say 2 times, good practice. I was breaking down film 2 years ago, the Division III National Championship, raining, snowing, 25-mile-an-hour winds. You have 50-mile-an-hour gust, and it blows off the tee twice. And the whoever's up there, the center judge or the back judge, commands one of the guys to come over and hold it. Well, the person that did was the fourth player on his side, and he vacated the spot that was making the formation legal. We talk about throwing flags and stuff. Use football sense, preventive officiating. Know that on this initial kickoff of the biggest game you're going to have in your career, you don't want to pad your stats, and the stat padding's over at this point, right? You want to start the game clean, get your formations right. And I've had a game with Mr. Lovett where we had there it is. We had a kickoff that was gonna ended up being blown dead. I think it was 4 on either side of the kicker, and I was young, and I said, man, yeah, the coach over here on my side who was going to benefit from the fouls in my ear, he's like, you see that, right? You see it? I was like, yeah, I see it. I'm about to ring him up. Mr. Lovett comes in, shuts it down. Hey, you get over here. And I'm totally, maybe I wasn't that night, and when I'm thinking about it, like, why did he do that? That was interrupting the flow of the game. It wasn't. That was exactly what the game needed at that point. Remember that? It was SC State? Yeah. All right, y'all can see the video descriptions, but so we're not in the scrimmage kick formation, right? Can you do that? Gary Patterson says you can't play soccer with a football, right? So that is illegal kick or illegal kicking? Kicking, right? Illegal kicking. And in that case, if B wants it, it's going to be a spot foul. But then they'd get to repeat A would get to repeat the down, right? That being like a 10, 12, 15-yard loss as it were. Maybe we think about declining that one, right? But get ask the coach and see. Can't see what down it is here, but so we good on that. A muff snap, kicking a backward pass. And he takes it to the crib, huh? So a foul for sure for illegal kicking a ball off the ground. When did the foul occur? Prior to the change, during a loose ball, right? So this is a scoring play. Can R or B take this on the on any kind of seceding spot or over to the kickoff as they could with a can't, right? It's it's prior to a change, so they've just got to decline it to keep the score because A's in possession. The only place they could take it would be the spot of the foul, and A would be able to replay the down at that point, right? So. And those are pretty easy to identify. It's not a lot of discernment necessary there. But when you got a muff snap rolling around, you get a little pucker factor back there because you got B's whole team coming after that kick now potentially, or the potential kick block. Just know, yeah, if you see any kind of discernible swinging of the foot, intentional kick, drop it on the spot. All right, illegal kick enforcement. Do we think they did it? They do it right or wrong here? We'll see. But it's not our agenda to sharpshoot people. So that's illegal kicking, right? So results of the play, true results of the play is it's a safety, right? Whether or not he kicked it, if that was the muff snap and it just ended up rolling back there, still a safety, right? So Moffrey, what are we thinking on enforcement here?
He's got some options. Can take the results of the play. Option, take the safety. Got a foul for an illegal kick. So behind the line of scrimmage, so we can enforce from the foul and replay the down.
With A in possession and A getting to
He's in possession, yeah. So
or
I
rather.
think they want to take the safety. But depending on game situation, score and whatnot.
Agree. Yeah, there's so we either take the foul or results of the play, right? And taking the results of the play would mean we decline the foul. There's no provision in the rule book to where we can put this at the 10 or the 30 or whatever that would be, right? We're either getting the foul or not, since it was before a change of possession. Yep, good.
You cannot just give the ball to B at the 1 yard line.
Right. Yeah.
I bet that's the next play.
Yeah, let's
They gave him the ball. Say,
oh. This is at Blythewood. We know because those huge net holes are uncovered still, but so there's no loss of down provision for this. What are the loss of down fails? Let's just talk about them since we're barreling towards the test. So illegal forward pass, intentional grounding in the same boat, illegal touching, illegal forward handing. That's it, right? Yep.
It's not pass interference.
Not offensive pass interference anymore. No. Oh. So we got a muff snap and another illegal kicking, right?
Andy pulled his hamstring. He put them up in his hamstring.
So even though K is in a scrimmage kick formation here, obviously, I mean, I didn't look at all the parts of it, but dude's clearly 10 or 12 yards back. There's no parameters or anything else in the book that says he needs a shield or amount of people, as long as they've got the number of exceptions right, or 550 through 79 and a kicker 10 or more yards behind the line of scrimmage in a scrimmage kick formation. What the 10-4-2 exception, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but that is what allows Team R to tack on to add to the end of the play if the ball belongs to them, any fouls by the kicking team. However, we had a muff snap and an illegal kick, so it's not going to matter anyway. Now we say B's got the ball. Referees, what are we going to do here? It's going to be just a clear decline, right? No questions need to be asked, and we move on with B, 1st and 10 going the other way.
But they could.
They could.
That's what I'm saying, but they could. The option is they could take the penalty. Yeah, we don't allow that. We don't allow that, but.
Well, yeah, we decline it and set up everything. And if he comes out on the field and says, "Hey, what are you doing? That's not what I wanted," then we'll do it. But that's not one where So yeah, this title of this video, pop-up kick. Always did. DRT when he kicks it, right? Well, the ball never became live. How's the ball become live? With a legal snap or free kick, right? Yes.
Kill it. Right now, it's a safety issue.
Kill it. Safety issue. There's always talk. Did I read? Can you wear armbands on your wrist now?
The players
Wrist.
wear them on their belts now. They can wear them
On their
belts.
on their waist. That it used to be arm only. Now it's on their waist, right? And then we would say that's I thought those rules were analogous. I mean, you got somebody looking up, or you got somebody looking down at their freaking card when the play's about to happen and gets just gets eaten up by it. But and it's inevitably going to happen in a few pre-games you have this year. Well, what's the what's the height that we want to see on a pop-up kick? And it's a safety foul. If he's got to look up, then it's likely high enough. And it's a dead ball foul anyway. It's 5 yards. Friggin' bang it and move on. But we just went over player gains possession or ball becomes dead while not in player possession. Possession versus muff. You heard me talking about possession versus controlled versus held last week. And that's why, possession, even in the air, I'll digress and I'll stop there. But possession, it's after he's caught or recovered it, which is what we're talking about here. You would catch or recover a punt or a free kick potentially. And a muff is touching of a loose ball in an unsuccessful attempt to gain or secure possession. And does a kick in with a muff?
No.
Nope. I bet we got some video on this. So illegal kicking IW is what it says. So that punt was certainly legal. Without benefit of sound.
Dude, it's just interesting. The referees.
So he probably had a whistle right as the ball was coming to rest, and dude comes up and kicks it, nudges it. I would say in that case, was it overt enough to call it a kick? Well, now we got a flag on the ground. Doesn't matter. You could still discuss and pick it up and call that an illegal, or rather a first touching spot if you wish. All right, so when you hate to talk IWs, but we got to talk them sometime, right? If we don't talk about it, you don't know what you're going to do when it inevitably happens. So the 2 times when there's no option for a replay, let's take fouls out of it or whatever. But the 2 times when there's not an option for a replay is when a legal forward pass is in the air. It's just he sails it and somebody sees something they don't and blows a whistle, or a legal kick is in flight, right, or airborne. In that case, there's no option for a replay. If
there's no option,
no option but a replay, excuse me. Yeah, there's no option unless there's a foul, which is what we've got here. So we've got a live ball and we've got a foul during a kick when a chain possession hasn't happened. If they're going to enforce this illegal kicking, then it's got to go to the previous spot. And I assume that's what they did. He's announcing it and doing the signals or whatever. So a foul does trump IW, but you've just got to go through your mind and talk with your crew and say, all right, what was the status of the ball whenever the foul occurred? And this one, it's clear. Nobody had possessed, still a kick. And they threw the flag. So you got to, if they're going to replay the down, or obviously wants this one to back it up. Same exact play, except ball's about to come to rest and player in white gets a little Batsky poo. So we got a bag there, which is of no consequence because it was not a dead ball, not a dead ball spot, not an end of a kick. This is just maybe getting into the lull of the game, going too fast, and anticipating in the wrong way. But again, exact same thing. Can you bat loose balls other than a forward pass or
You bat it backwards towards your own goal line. If you're the kicking team.
Well, that would be their goal line at the other.
Yep.
yeah, that's anticipating. Yes. So yeah, same. If they do decide to go with an illegal bat here, when an IW killed it, again, it's a kick play, no option other than to replay the down. And okay, yeah, if it's going to be another punt, another four down, potentially obvious punt situation, they're going to back them up 10 and say do it again. Sorry.
Bag that for spot for any touch.
Yeah, maybe it's a good point. So we need a bag there too. So that's but in that case, we joke that you don't want double projectiles, right? Your flag down for that illegal action would suffice, and that's probably what we'd like to see. But yep, Skip, you're right. That is it is a spot of first touching and an illegal bat. That ball's bounding pretty quick. I hear the banter. He's the most important line on the field in this situation is the goal line. So we had lines to help us out, and if he's going to rule first touching there, which he clearly did, the guy touched it, but where does he ends up possessing it? Does that matter? So if we've if we've got a foul in the middle of the field and we need the end of the kick for PSK enforcement potentially, then yes, it does. If it's the difference between the 4 and the 2, yeah, if I'm or much rather snapping it at the 4 right than the 2 all backed up in there. But you just got to know no possession. I think is what this video is getting at. So he certainly touches it at the 4. He's diving, sliding and stuff. When does he actually gain control, gain full possession? Where are we going to spot the ball? No, just talking what ifs.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's count these players real quick. So you wonder if there's no imposed play clock or anything. Not a lot of urgency from anybody either. So I feel like they've got enough time. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is one of them 1A games. They're like, Coach, you got too few, and they send out one, and everybody's happy, but they're still missing one. Is what I what I noticed. Yep. Any
I saw this.
no, this is not good at any level of football, right? So referees, one thing I noticed about this when watching is the book, does it still say 5 to 7 yards wide of the punter? This is almost a perfect snap. It takes him a little bit to his right, and we've got a drop step and a bailout immediately by this referee. So I'm not, do what the mechanic book says, but if he's getting up on you like that with a near just one slight step to his right, the punter that is, maybe you're too tight.
He looked, we've got wait. Nice.
Yeah, so that's is this a muffin? I mean, I guess it's a unsuccessful attempt to secure. I mean, he just kind of like reaches out, but it is so it's a muff by definition. Clearly not possession, and one of your crewmates has got to come freaking save the day right here.
This game, what? That's a Clinton game.
So the point of that last video would I think we glossed over it though. R never possessed it. K can't advance a kick, right? The kick that's beyond the neutral zone, that is. So it's DRT whenever they possess it. R we judged here. But did he reach out and touched it? It's going to be a first down for somebody. Back judge, whether he beanbagged that or not, it's going to have to swag it and go back to the 35 or the 40 somewhere and put it there. When is it down and on a punt? Oh, muff through the breadbasket. When does that guy gain possession? I mean, it bounces right up to him, huh?
11,
10 or 11, wherever you put it. Yeah. But I would say, some of the guys I talked to said if you can put it at the 10 or the 12, right? What you don't want is a friggin' line to gain at the 1 and a goal line right after that. So the wings, it is what it is. But if you've got the on field recognition to say, all right, it's either the 12 or the 10, let's just call it first and goal. So yeah, they put it at the 12, right? A lot of people I work with say, yeah, dude, try not to start any down from the 11 unless our force is fundamentals too, not a factor on kicks going into R's end zone. Why? Result of the play is always a touchback. Except on scoring kicks, there's a few, things we'll talk about later, but must understand when a kick ends. We talked about when it does. Force. So this is usually a test question in the end of the summer exam question. And sometimes I remember the last time I saw it, it was true or false. Initial force is a carry, snap, pass, fumble, kick, or muff. I was like, no, that list has 5 of them.
Hey, Sean. I mean, Bobby, so that's too early for Sean.
Yeah, so the list has 5. Know them, you gotta know them. Muff is not one, right? As you see, and that's initial force. When we're talking about a new force, talking about grounded fumble, grounded kick, or grounded backward pass. I'll go in a what if or just throw y'all a play real quick. There's a test question that comes up on a lot of our college quizzes, and it's applicable here where we've got a fumble in flight. Just say a first and 10 at the 10. They run to the 12, fumble it in the air, and B bats it over A's goal line. And you can't do that, right? So the result of the play, based on grounded fumble, kick, or backward pass, is a safety. Yep, because A put it in there. It was not grounded, didn't have a chance for a new force, but we got a foul. You can't be batting it either. So the enforcement will be from the end of the run, right? The end of the run was behind the line of scrimmage. We're going to tack that B foul on from the previous spot, or if beyond, then from the end of the run. New force applied, loose ball is grounded, or loose ball at or nearly at rest. Player contacts and changes the loose ball's direction. Player muffs the loose ball from the field of play into an end zone, into the end zone. Touching of the loose ball when a player is blocked into a ball is ignored and cannot create a new force. We know that, and we talk about passive versus active blocking, and describing that a bit easier than it sounds. I mean, if two players are here dancing, actively engaged, and ball comes down and just hits one of their foots, fine. But we know that the active blocking, though, if I'm pushing somebody, if I'm getting him, I'm driving him, and I drive him or push him into the football, that's going to be ignored because it was a clear touching by that action.
Hey, can you go back to that how's the new force applied? Right here. So do all these have to happen, or are these all ors? You understand what I'm asking? Because a lot of times I hear an official say, well, it was grounded. Next question, was it at rest? Are these things that all have to happen, or are they all independent of themselves?
We're gonna, I would say they're independent. We're going to talk about a few things that should clear that up, though. Because when you're considering this a new force, and
They all have to happen.
I think it's gotta be.
I think all of these have to
Right.
happen for it to be a new force. That's why.
Gotta be grounded, at
It's
rest.
gotta be
and
grounded,
at
it's
rest.
gotta be at or nearly at rest. Then you have to have a player change the direction of the ball. So I think all these things have to happen.
So if it's a ground and bounce and we hit it,
I think it's not nearly at rest.
Depending on the direction.
Call by cover official, we get the thought.
If it changes direction,
that could be a loose.
that could be a new force, right?
But John, you
They
say
go
that.
this way, so he go better.
I don't know, I want clarification. That's how I read it.
So I think if it just bounces hit the ground, you're not gonna have to blow.
So- it seems like bullet 2 is what's throwing us off here a little bit, and at or nearly at rest. And I mean, I think if it's bounding one way, which is next slide, so it conflates it even more, right? If it's bounding one way and I come in and muff it and it clearly changes the direction of the ball and it goes into the end zone, I would venture to say that's a new force. But I don't think there's many videos on that where we'll be going in blind or not knowing what we're talking about. But we'll get clarification on that and send it out. Get declared dead in K's end zone, either a touchdown or a safety. Force only matters in one direction. Kicks going into R's end zone or our touchbacks. Unless it's a scoring play. And an initial force versus new. All right. I think we're less than halfway through, but people at home, can y'all see that?
Yes.
All right, newcomer, what did I do wrong last week? I've got to show everybody the QR code and let them log in. So I'm going to start it. Will the QR code pop at that point? I don't think this little motion thing over here is the. I'm just going to start it and we'll see. All right. Give you. I'll give it 30 more seconds. Can we get 25? All right, 24 it is. Let's go. For a player to muff a loose ball, they must first possess it.
Who's that?
That player.
Team, team, that's, dang. That's sure. Who knew?
Answer's rolling in. False. If you possess a ball and then lose control of it, it's a fumble. Lose possession of it, rather.
Yeah, sure.
Wins the neutral zone expanded into the end zone. It's a rule change, right? Or at least John Price told me that last week.
No, I'm sorry.
Real quick.
I got you.
Non-scrimmage kick downs. That neutral zones established when
That one was the same.
the ball is marked ready for play, the neutral zone is established. When's the neutral zone disintegrate? When the down's over? The snapper placing his hands on the ball, does that have any bearing on anything that we do?
It does. All the false encroachments. Yeah.
It does. Can you have a false start, encroachment, any of that stuff prior to the ready for play?
No.
No. Ball's dead, has not been marked ready, right? B5 steps out of bounds before jumping up to touch a pass. B5 is considered out of bounds and the ball is dead. True or false? Yep. And what does he ever do to establish? Come back in bounds with while not simultaneously touching out of bounds or whatever it says, right? Which of the following causes the runner to be considered out of bounds? Bunch of choices. Stepping on the sideline, touching a pylon, which is out of bounds behind the goal line, right? Touching auxiliary line to gain marker. Seen that. Somebody, B player dragged one of those freaking slap down things into the field of play, and it got wrapped around the runner's leg in an FCS game last year, a couple years ago. Buddy was on it, and I think the crew ended up calling him dead because that thing started the down out of bounds. It's supposed to be there, and it's and you do. So To participate in the play, what must occur? We were kind of split on that one, right? Standing in the field of play versus influence the play, but we'll just talk about you know, you would like to see him do something. Participating without a helmet, that is, we definitely want to see him do something. That is something more than the act in which he was originally engaged. Read a question yesterday. It says, helmet of B65 is lost due to no result of the foul. He puts it back on and aggressively pursues the play, but doesn't end up anywhere near it when the ball's dead. Is that a foul? That's a yeah, and you call it technically no. That's a foul all day. He put his helmet back on, which is not a foul. Losing it and aggressively pursuing the play is the foul. So y'all stand by on Kahoot. I'm not sure how many how many questions we went through. Hopefully there's a few left. We'll I think there's another hydration break later. Free kicks. Fun stuff. So this video's done made its rounds, right? But free kick lines are always 10 yards apart. And we refer to them as the neutral zone, right? We know the neutral zone is the width of a football, length of a football rather, except on free kicks when we're talking about the 10-yard belt. So kickoff is the 40-yard line unless moved by penalty. Safety is the 20-yard line for the same thing. Fair catch yard line. So after but the Fat Scott is the mnemonic device, right, Skip? For a fair catch kick, on a scrimmage kick, do you get lateral placement? Yes. Any fair catch, right? An awarded fair catch. What's an awarded fair catch? So if we've got kick catch interference, right? Is what? Yep. So so this video has gotten a lot of play, and it's one of the examples. Anybody know how this happened? How we get here? A lot of fouls, just a bunch of BS going on. This is not. I don't believe this is a elected fair catch kick. So ball goes straight down the middle of the uprights. What's the result? Just a touchback, right? Yeah, it's a non-scoring attempt. Crosses ours goal line. And five, six, seven, something. So here's those things in Rule 6, Article 1, I believe, that specify what the teams must have going on to make it a legal free kick formation. So no player other than the kicker or holder beyond the free kick line. If we've got that, that's encroachment on K, right? No player other than the kicker 5 yards or more behind the free kick line. Seen it where they'll in an attempt to deceive almost, they'll put two guys back there and one will run up and they'll do loop-de-loops or whatever, and we know that that's going to be a dead ball foul as soon as, if they're both like that when it starts, and if you got two people back there and somebody kicks it, then it's a foul regardless. 4 players must be on either side of the kicker when ball is kicked. That's why we were able to fix that play with Mr. Lovett all the way up to it. And all all our players must be behind their free kick line, or otherwise that's encroachment as well. All these are dead ball fouls. When does the clock start on a free kick? When it's legally touched, right? So legal touching means anytime R touches it and anytime K touches it legally, which could be having not gone 10 yards, but R's touched it at 5 yards, right? Or certainly if it's gone past 10 and it's grounded. Offsides on a free kick. This is one of my games, or one that I was reviewing a while back, and I said, Garrick, we need to adopt the standard that we're going to give him 1 yard. It needs to be at least a yard and a foot down. And he said that Charlie's pushed back on that monumentally, and we want him for fouls now. We want him clearly beyond. Don't go guessing, but make it be there. I mean, I say it in every pregame. I say, picture this: we're out there in 30 minutes. The lights are on. Everybody's ready. Band's playing. We've got a maybe there, maybe not freaking encroachment on the very first play of the game. Just that's adding to our foul count and just choppy off the bat. But I'm not saying don't throw it, but there's when it's a deep kick, when it's an onside kick situation, that's when your focus needs to be laser, need to be in the right position, and you have the confidence to make that call. And don't go guessing there either. Obviously, that's going to be the biggest, potentially the biggest spot in the game. But he's over, right? That's a yard over, foot down. That I think that white part, what we see there is a swinging leg. Hasn't come through yet. Clearly off, or clearly encroachment, right? Yep. Get that one every time. Like I said, a yard beyond is a good rule of thumb. Charlie doesn't like that, and do what your coordinator wants. Oh man, who that?
Who's that?
It's not me. I know it's not me.
So man. Sounds good.
So again, I can't hide or sneak attack you with the way my program's set up here, but you see what the tagline or the header is for this video. So let's watch it. And I kind of zoned out there for a minute. I'll pause it and see what we can see is happening. Yeah, they're already passed. We'll watch it in real time a couple times. But as we said, yeah, all these are dead ball fouls, right? So you can see that guy to the kicker's right, clearly beyond his free kick line. Got it incomplete, right? Yeah. Somebody else gives an incomplete signal later on too. I'm not, but maybe they're saying that we had no play or whatnot. But we got a conversation. Bobby, you tell us what the conversation was. Do you recall?
Discussion was whether or not they were covered, if we were called, or whether it was not.
Did it go 10 yards?
They were arguing. There's a flag on the ring.
There is a flag. It was thrown at the snap. I see we.
What's time process? Is dead ball.
Yeah.
So again, much more scrutiny on this. In fact, no leeway whatsoever. This guy's clearly a yard beyond him. It's an obvious foul. Not sure what the disconnect here was, letting it bounce around. I mean, there's really no foul, really no harm, no foul there either, except if somebody ends up winding the clock and we let it bounce around a little bit more and it's a time critical situation as it is. We know that. Okay, the first quarter, so not exactly. I mean, even if you lose 20, 30 seconds, I mean, it's not a good look, but at least it's not the end of the game. But this got to be easy, right? I mean, the guy was well beyond, very little conversation needed. Save Bobby some steps there. Just go ahead and give him the preliminary in that case. And because referees, if you talk about in your pre-games, that's always one that comes up. What if I'm down there on the friggin' pylon and we've got something that happens in the box and we don't have radios? We've got to get it to, many times the umpire will end up enforcing it. So umpires know your fouls in the box. And we're telling you tonight, all of them are dead ball fouls. Know your fouls, know your enforcements, which, I mean, you got umpire, you're the freaking captain of penalty administration anyway. You got to know the book backwards and forwards.
Pre-game. I have had the umpires actually tell me they don't want to do
We all right, drop kick on a kickoff. Harken back to the old days, huh? Drop kicks can be used in any situation where a kick is allowed, which is pretty, really I'm talking about free kicks after fair catch, free kick following a safety, tries, scrimmage kick punts, all those. And if it is on a try or on what would be a scoring attempt, a field goal, then the drop kick certainly you can use it. And if it passes through the uprights in the air and stays beyond the crossbar, then it's 3 points or 1 point on a try. So to have a legal drop kick, got to kick it. What's the book say? I looked it up today because I knew it's as it touches the ground, right? This is look at South Carolina. So no possession. We do have our haven't touched it though, but does that matter now that the ball's grounded and it's beyond ours free kick line? No, it's a first down for somebody. Good. That was a big old spike, right? You think you got him for UNS? Probably.
Yeah. Just trying to hold it.
Especially in the CAA or Ivy League or whatever this is.
No, that's good. That's good.
So It's going to back them up. So we're at the 40. We'll be at the 25 now. They were at the 20, which I think is what confused this crew a little bit because he hands them the ball. There's no tee, and he can drop kick it, right? So this has got to be one of those aha moments, or just you're using your football acumen. Saying, wait, there's no tee. I generally hold it to him. He pumps it up, and I see the green translucent thing sitting on the field. Yeah, he's not. So I wouldn't like to say, hey, you better drop kick this. You better not punt it. They said, well, no, we're at the 20, right? This is that situation where I can punt it. And that's where, again, you use preventive officiating and try to shut this down. But this came to somebody's attention, and not sure if they flagged it or not, but he punts it on a kickoff. And a kickoff is defined as what? Just a free kick to open the game or after a score, right? Or whatever the definition says. But to start a half. So what's the so you see that on Friday night? What's the foul for that? The illegal kick. Yep, but that's a dead ball foul for sure. And I want to say that because it's one of those fouls that's in the box, it's a 5-yard foul. I would venture to say that.
I think it's 10. Previous spot.
We'll look at that. I was up in the book today.
That'd be a free kick infraction. Or is it? If it's
I think so. Yeah, it's Article 2.
Free kick infraction.
I think it falls under Article 2 and Article 11. Article 11 is pop-up kick. Article 2 is maybe the fact that you have to use. We'll move on to, y'all look that up. But another thing is that we've had a question on the past 2 college exams, which say, all right, we've got a free kick following a safety. He's well within his rights to punt it, and he establishes himself, checks with his buddies at position 4. Whenever referee hits the ready for play, potential kicker 17 sprints to his left, gets to position 2, and kicks it downfield after that. And that's it. The high school book says the same thing. It says whenever K has established where they're going to kick from, you got to stay in that spot. But yes. Yep. Sure enough, did last week. So yep, we're it's a free kick infraction. Okay, so yeah, broke it down last week. Thanks, Al. And this is not something I even knew, but 7-8 years into this thing, when I was a center judge, had to be the captain of penalty enforcement on my crew. But all these views that we get are going to be looking at the press box, right? And that's what we're going to know is position 1 is this near hash to us. Yep, the near hash to us. We know this. The press box is always where the cameras are, and that's happens to be our point of reference. Umpires and CJ's higher up for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So near hash is 1. We'll go into 2, and that's going to be the upright. Middle of the field is 3. The next upright is 4. The farthest hash mark is 5. And whenever we're talking about previous spots, for enforcement's sake, the umpire, may wonder why he wears 2 down indicators, and 1 is to keep the down so he can be a crew saver one day, and the other one is to know when we've got an incomplete pass or penalty or anything else that where we would need to reference that. Was talking last week about keeping an idea of where your quarterback is and whether or not he's out of the lateral edge of the free blocking zone. Many times I had to do it last year. I had a block below the waist. It was right on the edge. I mean, he did sneak out, and I was pretty confident about it. But before I freaking went and announced it and ended up getting an incorrect call, doggone sure I went to my umpire and my center judge, and I said, hey, what previous spot did you have? Where did we snap it from? So lean on him. I was just, I've had many people tell me as a referee, oh, you ought to start doing it too. I ain't doing all that yet, but yeah, so that I think.
I'm not 1, 2, 3, 5. I know you do. When you start doing that, so they gonna say that's custom. When you got new guys coming in,
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's easy. But most coaches are probably are not going to know it.
most officials.
But I say if we start teaching it, they're going to know it. I've told 50 people in here tonight. Yeah. But no, and that's what it is. And again, I said I attested that I had not heard it until I had to freaking start doing it. So, but maybe it's a helpful tool for you if you want to discuss with Dave or one of us a little bit more about that.
I'm just saying, if it's not in the mechanic, then
Yeah.
How do you address this? You use your
I
hand,
got my hand.
and what are those numbers?
I'm not counting my hand. I'm not counting my finger. I'm just looking at that. I'm looking at art. Just looking at
That's your spots, right?
Yeah.
Is this one or this one?
They all want to be. Cause I'm put it back.
Most umpires use their fingers this way. I use your fingers. Yeah, just your visual position. Sometimes. I'm not saying, I don't never, not working press box, I was sure. These fours. One time.
Tries good after the play, personal foul, something. They'll take it on the kickoff, right? So yeah, it's another one where maybe the team got confused. They're on the 20. Let's see what happens. Before we get there, punt. We've established that's just like all the other fouls in the box. It's a free kick infraction. We get a signal on that. Is it rolling fist? Just default signal 19. I mean, it's tough not to call it an illegal kick, but yeah, free kick infraction. 5 yards. Oof. What do we think?
So he was over 5 yards, 6 yards. Yeah.
Go hands. What do you think? Is that personal foul, necessary roughness / roughing the kick, whatever you want to call it? Personal foul against him. Maybe call it a blindside block. He's watching the ball, seeing what it is, and just gets blasted. I don't know. Usually, but the book says if he's had the opportunity to regain himself, or has the ball's gone 5 yards, he's gone 5 yards. The kicker's advanced more than 5 yards beyond his free kick line.
The kicker's fair game with that now, right?
So these kids.
So the ball's going 5 yards and you looking to recover also.
Yeah, they're not gonna
Block it, we didn't start.
You might be free game, but you got this blocking.
Yeah, blocking league, you know, league, blocking.
But it showed, yeah.
I'm not gonna let go ahead here like that. I got a flag on that.
That's a cheap shot.
That flag.
All right, free kick ends. We'll try to free kick ends when K secures possession. Ball belongs to K. If it traveled 10 yards, ball touched the ground and touched the ground, order does not matter. Illegal for K to catch kick in flight, and that's kick catch interference. So we talk about using double projectiles. If he catches a free kick in flight, K that is, in the 10-yard belt in the neutral zone, we've got first touching of the kick and kick catch interference. And one marker will suffice for both of those. If it's gone beyond, whether or not there's an R player in position, it's KCI. R secures possession, ball remains alive, unless any R player is given a fair catch signal, valid or invalid, right? We get a lot of Flora tape just because it's easy, accessible.
So we sending it.
So hit the ground, took a nice bounce. See, man. Eligible to possess. Okay, that is for sure, definitely. Order doesn't matter. We've got a timid R player back there, didn't want to do anything with it. K wanted it more, and he got it legally. Any time run off here? Since it's DRT, as soon as he possesses it, I think.
Got wide. Yeah, do it one thing. All it lead to.
Yep. Fair catch signal. I think we'll see from the coach end zone that his a player other than the signaler catches it. So there's a signal there. He does. He comes from about face mask level down.
I'm sorry. Right.
Give the fit catch.
Was it a valid person?
I don't think that.
I mean, it's, you see all sorts of these signals. I would say don't go looking for invalid signals. Shut it down.
Yeah, he had done. Yeah, you're.
So
He hits down here.
what can you do? You can point at chest level, right? Any kind of waving motion below the shoulders, though. So I think they've stopped doing that. There was really a push a few years back to single that move out in particular. Yeah, the signals we get the quickest waves you've ever seen still, and in my estimation, those are all valid signals. 10-4-2 exception, we were talking about that earlier. So basic spot at the option of the offended team. Maybe this is a seating spot for fouls by K during a free kick or scrimmage kick down, other than KCI, prior to the end of the kick, when K will not be next to put the ball in play. So if R is going to get the ball, K's fouled at any point during the down. If the change of possession, then we know we'd have the option to attack that on anyway. Most of these are going to be fouls that occur with the snap or during the kick, but all those have tack on options. R has option to enforce K fouls during the free kick down. It's a seating spot. K does not have possession at the end of the down, excludes KCI again. KCI options are declined except results of the play. Because you can have KCI and still you don't have to have a fair catch signal. The down is not necessarily going to be over when once R possesses it. If we've got KCI contacting a player who's in position to catch a kick, and then he advances at that point. Maybe the 15 yards from wherever that spot was would not be most desirable for R. So K R's options when that occurs: K possession, end of the down, accept the foul, penalized on the previous spot, or replay the free kick down. R possession at the end of the down, that is an option you can penalize from the previous spot, or if it was during the kick, we know the previous spot is the basic spot. We've also got that option many times. R fouls during the free kick down. It's before the kick ends. You can accept the results of the play, or enforce from the previous spot. We know A is still in possession at that point, and the only the basic spot, the only enforcement spot would be the previous spot. And after the kick ends, enforce on the basic spot, and that's when we figure out where the run ends, where the foul is, and all that. This excludes, of course, non-player, non-sportsmanlike fouls. Non-player, non-sportsmanlike. Non-player, we know many times to be a player running on after the ball snapped. Any unsportsmanlike that may occur during the down. What non-player foul, that's certainly unintentional contact with a person in the white. One of the other ones, right? Is that we consider a non-player foul? Tracking that. Yeah, unintentional contact with an official in the white. That's a non-player foul. Which means the only option for that is it's a seating spot. Free kick, illegal bat. Oh. So, can you do that? Can't do that, right? So, illegal batting, 10-yard foul. Had the kick ended? So, still a kick. So, you either, it was fouled by R. K either takes the result of the play, which who didn't take stock of where that was, but if it's at the 20, 18, whatever, then they very, very likely may do it. It's all going to depend on the strength of the kicker and what time of the game and all that. But yeah, spot on. Previous spot or results of the play. So another hydration break. We'll fire this up. To throw a pass, a player must first possess the ball, and the ball travels in flight. So like that, it must first possess. So I would say he must first catch or recover the ball, and it must travel in flight. Passing is an intentional act, right? Unintentional loss of possession is a fumble, right? What determines if a pass is backward? Straight out the book, right? parallel with or toward the runner's end line. Player who is eligible at the start of the down can never lose eligibility during the down. Is that a fundamental? Yes. Forward pass interference can occur anywhere on the field. And that's OPI or DPI, right? We're talking about. False. Where may it occur? Beyond the neutral zone. On a pass that that crosses the neutral zone. After the ball's been released, right? All right. Arc and Buffet kick still ends in a touchback. Kick is not in until player gains possession. Touchback scoring attempt touches K player in ours end zone. So a K lineman leaks forward during a try attempt. If it doinks off his head, yeah, so the score's no good. It's dead there, right? And non-scoring attempt breaks ours goal line. Simple as that. These are recycled slides. So punt muff. Man, choppy, huh? But we got a muff. And so there's a huge scrum and officials getting pushed around and players are too. There's probably some fingers getting grabbed under there, but it's a touchback, right? It's pretty simple to adjudicate. You may have to use your stripes and get in there. These kids, they're just going to see a loose ball and start diving on it. So it may be the same scene on Friday night at Wagner Sally, but we know the result is going to be starkly different. We're not going to have to think about anything other than getting these players off of each other. So brand new football. All right, touchback. So the lighting, maybe so, and it's tight, right? But we got another view here. That one makes it look a little closer to not being a touchback. But again, I'll say if you come up with it, call that a touchback, and nobody says anything, as Moffrey says. All right, touchback or touchdown. So we got a squib, a muff, a muff. As soon as the front edge of that football touches the front. Touchdown, you guys mean, right? That's
It's a good point to mention here. If you have something crazy like this and it happens, you're really not sure, don't do it, just stop the clock. Just two hands, stop the clock, and then let's talk about it as a crew, what you got. Just stop the clock. You don't have to give anything. I got this guy. Let's talk about it.
Again, it was muffed multiple times by R. Has no bearing on the play at all, right?
Get it right. It looks all. You don't give any. That's what you do. So I play that back.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes, that's it.
It's still a kick.
Still a kick.
It's still a kick.
That's the kick.
Still a kick.
You gonna ignore that? That kicking right there.
But in the heat of the moment, you might get confused. Just stop that.
Yeah. He stands like, you know, you got so.
He was so. As the crowd's gonna think you got that.
Yeah.
When he come in.
Touched it.
And I would say, you know, this, you see the referee on that top pylon up there? And that is he's retreating back as well because he needs to. This is a short kick, and you like to gauge the abilities of your kickers. Maybe that's where he started. I don't know.
This is pretty good.
Yes.
Was a free, but maintain your pylon position.
As soon as they cross ours, ball, as soon as it crosses ours class.
So as soon as you cross the end zone, it doesn't matter.
As soon as it crosses the end zone,
Got it. Okay.
it's a kick. Still a kick.
It's still.
If he had it run and fumbled and it rolled back, that would be a.
Okay,
This right here.
in the field play.
So why do we have a beat?
Okay, that makes.
Where's the beat?
So this maybe better illustrates the point I was trying to make. So what good is he doing right there? Should be on the goal line. And that other one, I mean, it was a squib kick and it first got touched at the 30. So you may think you're behind the 8 ball already as the referee, the line judge back there, and want to bust it upfield. But what ended up happening? Both ended up having to bust it back into the end zone and try to make a ruling, moving, head bobbing, and all that. So yeah, until you see possession and a gainful attempt to get upfield, I would say maintain your initial starting position. That's, it's a good beanbag. So that but you got to, you got to wind the clock too. So a couple things we'd like to see there. So that's a clear touchback with a ball.
Once again, if you're not sure, what did he do? He just saw the clock. And he's like, oh, then you process what you said with the ball.
Yep. Boom. Touchback, right?
Process what you said. That's not like, cause you say, see, when he does this. Too much. It ain't going as fast as you think. Let's see.
Oh, you back home?
The thing is, yeah.
Oh, no.
All right, Kim. They can do this under what circumstance? That it doesn't reach the goal line, right? So I know not once crosses the goal line. So it's an unsuccessful field goal attempt. And once we know that it's unsuccessful and we gauge that it's crossed our goal line, the results, it's dead. It's dead right there. And then you sort out what the rest of the play is. That's right. Yeah. A touchback is always going to be the 20.
But in NFL, it's where it kicks it from me.
Oh, that's where the old kicking ball is.
Like a non-ball.
Yeah.
Whoever who's supposed to be on the goal line for that.
Nobody's feels like it's just whatever your judgment is.
Somebody's gonna have. Somebody's gonna have.
Nobody's gonna go on for that. I don't.
You in trouble.
Wings inside the numbers is too tight at any time ever. If the snap is straight to the quarterback and he runs, he's going to run for that stick over there right into your lap. He's going to use you as a pick. And it's at the, it's the middle of the field. If it were, farther over there, I could understand, but, talking about the mechanics book, the mechanics net book now says at or near the sideline is where we want line of scrimmage people.
Not there.
Kicks. I mean, we know when, you gotta assess where he gained possession. And if it's in the field of play, then it's a live ball, right?
Well, you back judge the line that they make that.
It's just a no man's land type thing.
Mechanics change
Yes.
at or near the sideline.
Yeah.
That discussion about that was interesting because it really got down to the fact of it wasn't about like, I mean, we see a lot of it on film. It's like actually being aware of what the heck's going on and like not getting in too quick. But like it was really the ones that was just not moving at all. That's where it came out of. People was just like standing there like a brick. So like, I mean, a lot of it, what we do, how we move,
Yeah.
that. But
No, you're Mr. Mechanics Committee, right? That's,
the conversation around it, like so much it went back to us, like it's just awareness. And I think that's at the root of that.
you can't account for the actions of other people. I just know what I'm telling you guys that are still doing it and able to move well and care. Being back on the sideline increases your cone of vision, keeps you safe, and allows you to be where you need to be. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah, I'm not. I looked at this one earlier and tad grainy, so we'll move on. Momentum exception. So it's inside the 5 yard line, right? The 4.999, and on in. So if a player of the defense intercepts an opponent's forward pass or recovers a fumble or catches or does anything where the ball will remain live and he's in between the 5 yard line and his goal line and the ball ends up becoming dead there, then this is where the momentum exception comes into play. And why do we have that? So he wouldn't get penalized with a safety for, something that he couldn't control, that we assessed he couldn't control. So the ball has to remain in the end zone, right? He can fumble it over the end line behind him. He can fumble it out of either sideline in the end zone. Now with our forward fumble rule, we had probably a question on last year's exam. This one too is in all the case books. If he fumbles it forward into the field of play and it goes out of bounds at the B2, it's coming back to the end zone and it's going back to the B4 wherever he first possessed it or whatever. Back to the spot. Now, if he fumbles it out into the field of play and it's bounced around and a teammate or another non-teammate dives on it at the 5, and we got to get together and have them one of them 7-person huddles and figure out what the heck's going on. But basically all the stuff that I said. So inside the 5 yard line, right? If it's at the 5, bets are off. This is I think that's our pal Larry right there. What do we got? They come up, say, yeah, man, that's a touchback all day, right? So we get a view here and yep, so they ended up going to replay and judging that he possessed it, controlled this in the field of play. Tell you. They moved it to the 1. So he does turn around a little bit, but he's so close to it's a clear momentum. He gets tackled on the end zone and falling backwards, drop steps and tries to go. So yeah, would judge it all day. So main thing is if you rule momentum, if you're going to cowboy up and say it, potential to, if it's big time play, we won't work all our mechanics the right way, but need a beanbag, right? That's the main thing. What I'm getting at. If you're going to judge momentum, and you get a call from Charlie on Monday, and he said, "What'd you have?" Got a ticked off coach that's talking to me. Oh, I had momentum. We put it at the half-yard line in a super tight game. Well, I didn't see a beanbag. What's going on? Or be able to back yourself up with proper mechanics. First touching, we talked about it. So on a free kick, it's when the ball's touched in the 10-yard belt prior to being touched by R. And on scrimmage kicks, it's when it's first touched by K prior to being touched by R beyond the expanded neutral zone and before it comes to rest. So it's always one. I'll see some people do this even when K picks up the ball. People will default to that, and I guess technically by rule it's not, but it is a spot of first touch and where the ball's dead and where we're going to snap it from next. Just the rules, a lot of words. All right, so K's the dark jerseys. He's not being blocked, not being pushed yet. I mean, there's a hand on him, but that's so we bag that from up there, and who's going to see that? He saw it, or either he's bagging the end of the kick. We had a couple that are like that. What's that beanbag? But potentially, if we've got a line judge that has released and is going down, you're scanning for signals by R, but that action may come right in your line of sight. Just a couple more. Position of the ball is what this says. So first touching. How many spots of first touching can we have? Innumerable, right? Infinite. That was touched about 4 or 5 times, it looked like, but it's never dead on any of these. It's never possessed. So we've got first touching here, first touching there, finally goes into the end zone for eventual touchback. And that's what they're going to go with. So see what I was talking about? That guy was being driven. Basically, it wasn't just some dancing and blocking. If you saw the action. Fitzy's got a good block on him. It clearly drives him backwards into the ball. So that's what we would call forced touching. It'd be ignored like it never happened. Clock on free kick, what we were talking about. I think we're on to slide 75, so I'm almost done. So when does it start again? Legal touching by either team. And I guess White touched it beyond the neutral zone. So regardless of who recovers, that'll be ball game. When does R lose the right of first touching? Whenever any foul's accepted, right? They would, but if they gain possession and end up fouling after the first touching, they would lose it then too. But spend a whole lot of time beating that up, but you could see it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's still accepted, you can't have spot for a touchdown.
Yep. So just think of that. That's the only way I ever think. I don't think about R getting it. I mean, if there's a foul out there and K wants it, then R's going to lose that spot of first touching. No, take that to the bank. These are just what ifs are, and I won't bore you with doing these back and forth, but little bit over, good discussion. Let me know if you got anything, but appreciate y'all coming. Thanks.
Yeah.